Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 3 officially of Steel City Boys. As you can see by episode 3 already, upgrading to some mics, so hopefully the audio is a little better. Moving on up in the world, Jared.
Agreed.
Hey, what can I say?
Yeah, new mics, new little better setup, new webcam, lighting, little angle, makes it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for those who are watching, but also those who are listening.
We got a lot happening this week, man. Steelers wrapped up their preseason.
Yeah.
Regular season's right around the corner. I'm so pumped. By the way, guys, I think we want to hear your opinions on this on the comments section. We want to start doing a live stream. Obviously, we can't film the actual game, but just kind of have it live streamed on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you guys are on, and just really have a multi-touch platform of just a play-by-play analysis. Let us know what you think in the comments below. I think that'd be a fun way to get it rolling once the season starts. Hopefully, a little bit more excitement. But we're super pumped to be back here.
Yeah, agreed. And that would be a funny element because you get sick of some of these NFL announcers always giving everybody praise. This guy's the greatest. He's amazing. He's the next Tom Brady. I think you and I would do good commentary of basically saying this guy just straight up stinks. I don't know. Make it fun.
We'll give you the honest, unbiased opinion. But
Right.
yeah, again, see what you want in the comments section below. Hey, we're happy to have you guys back here. Everything, man, it's so digital these days, right?
Yeah.
It's like anywhere you get access to sports information or really just anywhere. It's the age of digital information overload. So
Yeah, no, I agree. And when I realized this too was the other day when I told you that my power went out. I didn't realize how much I am focused on screens or digital or technology because if anybody's experienced this, their power goes out. You're really not sure what the hell to do. You come back from work, there's no power. You basically just sit in the dark, maybe work out, try to read a book by candlelight. So we're definitely in this digital age.
it's my whole life, really, digital. I'm just on the computer from the start to the finish. So it's like, hey, that's kind of what the topic is today, though, right? Is building meaningful connections in the digital age. A lot of pros and cons with it. So that's what I'll kind of get into is kind of the pros and cons to start it off. One is the global reach,
Yeah.
right? It's so easy to connect with everybody. There's so many social media apps and social, connection. There's WhatsApp, Facebook, there's YouTube even. There's TikTok, Vine. I don't even know if Vine's a thing still, but there's so much out there. So I think that's a big pro is just global reach. I have friends that are in Kenya and Uganda that message me on Facebook asking how I am. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
freely communicate. So I think that's a big pro.
Yeah, at the same time, I'll go the con route. I think that is a big pro, the reach. You can talk to anybody from anywhere or stay connected with people that, kind of went your separate ways. But it's also very distracting. There's a ton of it. It sucks up your time. So when you spend more time in that digital world, you're spending less time in the real world. So, two sides of the story.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, leads me to my next point of the pro is the convenience, right? I can access and communicate to anybody through my phone, my my laptop, anything. It's like I can communicate with anybody. Information access is so easy. The social networking too is another pro of platforms like that really enable people to have that connection with people. So I would encourage people to have social media. However, watch out for the dark sides of it. And that's kind of what we're going to get into now is the cons of it. And like you just mentioned, when it's, you're just consumed by it. Unfortunately, I think there's a big consumption of social media these days. So I think
Yeah. See, I'll take the other route. I'm anti-social media. I want to delete it all. I don't want anything to do with it. I just think it's really confusing, and I have a brain of a caveman, so I don't compute with social media, Snapchat, all that stuff. I prefer to talk to people, to see them. Some might say I have a chimp mentality.
Yeah, you definitely. I'm not saying you got to be the best at social media, but I think there's definitely an advantage of having it to stay in touch with people, to network, to, promote yourself. I think that's all the good parts of social media. However, I think people abuse it in that sense where they want to talk about just negativity. That, it's so depressing when I look on Facebook or Instagram sometimes, just like of like negativity and negativity. That's actually technically not what social media was built for.
Yeah.
Social media, I think, should be built to market yourself, market your brand. Not that I'm saying you have to do that if that's what you want to do, but the thing is, employers look at social media. They look at your profile.
Yeah.
Probably don't want to have too much negativity on there.
Yeah, you definitely got to watch what you post. Here's what's really going to be wild we're already in it, but kids, you and I, we still had those Polaroid cameras. People would take pictures. You put it on your refrigerator. You would see a couple pictures of you as a baby, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, let's say like 20 photos of your whole life. But now kids of this day and age, everything is documented. My nieces, nephews, all photos from the baby, like, every single day. And you gotta just watch what you post, and it's kind of weird. Like they're gonna be able to see themselves grow up through a digital, like documentation throughout their whole life. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, no. Kids nowadays, it's crazy. They can use these platforms like so much better than I could. Like, dude, my 13-year-old nephew had to give me advice on like some intro videos and like things on social media, like do this, do that. It's like, where the hell, like, why don't I know this?
Right. No, they're raised with technology. I mean, they all know how to use iPads. They know how to use settings, remotes. They think everything's touch screen. I mean, kids can adapt very fast when you're born with it, but I don't know. You give them a stick and rocks. They don't know what to do with it. Back in my day, we just kick some rocks around, kick some can in an alleyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely in the digital time. We had some digital, and social media was definitely on the rise, but I think it can be a good and bad thing, right? It's a great way to, like I said, get your brand out there, but I think there's a ton of interpersonal communication as well. People rely on it way too much, way too often. Not everybody can really be comfortable with the face-to-face. I think, Mike Tyson said it the best too. Social media has made so many people comfortable with talking shit and not getting punched in the mouth for it. And it's like, I got to kind of agree with that. It's like, I think it's so easy to spread hate on social media and get your opinion out because it's where, people feel the need that they can be heard and be appreciated, which is a good thing. But again, when it becomes hateful, which I think there's a digital divide nowadays, I think ever since 2020, I think social media has become this cesspool of negativity and controlling and political, and it's just, there's a big divide nowadays. Let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, and it's another part of social media as well is what you look up, and the algorithms that you look up is what it produces to you. If you look at a lot of right-wing things, then that algorithm is going to keep showing you right-wing things, make it more extreme. Same thing as the left. And so as you go down that rabbit hole, and it's going to show you more shit of like, oh, the left is crazy or the right's crazy. That's what you believe because that's what you see. But we're all seeing different sides of the social media aspect. And that's probably why we're all nuts.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, politics has become so cutthroat nowadays, and advertising it on social media makes it, I think, even crazier. Another big thing, social media, I think, has had an impact on relationships.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, Jared mentioned this to me a couple weeks ago. We were talking about it, constant exposure and constant, leading to comparison of others. You look at them and you say, they have a perfect life. They have everything. And that kind of takes you out of the context of your own relationship, because you start to look at others and say, oh, maybe if I was with them, maybe if I were with them, it might be better. Or you look at somebody else's life and say, oh, if I looked like them. I mean, I actually had this not too long ago in a relationship where I was dating the girl and constantly was just like looking and worried about like social media, how many likes. Oh, look at this model. If I looked like this person, where it's like, I wasn't even remotely looking at that saying, hey, I wish you looked more like Kim Kardashian, or I wish you looked more like this person.
Right.
But it's just this comparison, I think, of how social media can affect relationships, I think is a good point.
Yeah, it's also unattainable things, right? They have somebody comparing themselves to Kim Kardashian. She has a photographer, she has lighting, she has somebody photoshopping, editing, makeup, hair, perfect place. It's not a real attainable thing to look like her if you don't have millions, or maybe she's worth billions. I don't really know. But another part, and I just want to get back on how complicated it is. It's really strange with just all the social media apps that are out there, and even texting. It's very difficult. Like, it's almost a different language, you could say. Talking to you, we're both just talking. It's normal. It's very comfortable. Sometimes texting, you can't always understand what the person is saying. Are they being rude? If they didn't respond for a day. I mean, it's tough texting somebody all day or every day when you're like a full-grown adult and you have a job, you're trying to eat, sleep, work out, and you do something afterward. And you're not trying to be rude by not responding, but it's like a different language with texting, and I just prefer calling, talking to people. It's easier.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And I've definitely heard that growing up, of text-based communication. I think that's a good point to touch on. It just lacks that tone, like you said, that nonverbal cues of the misunderstanding. You could take one thing totally out of context. We're definitely in a texting generation too. We're in a texting world. Everybody wants to text, me included. But I think, yeah, sometimes it is better to just have that phone call, or like that face-to-face FaceTime, or just something where you both can like talk it out, even if it does end badly. Hey,
yeah, sure.
Sometimes not everybody's meant to be with each other, which is the harsh truth, and not everybody's meant for you. So I think the text-based communication, and especially the social media, definitely can have a misunderstanding, which I think can lead to a strain on relationships if it's too much. Everything in moderation, right? So
I'd agree.
obviously you can't call all the time, so you're going to have to text, but I think for the most part we should definitely try to get back to that on relationships. Is like what happened to the old school days, like when we were in grade school. Like if I could call my crush up, oh, hi Mrs. Whoever, is so and so home? Like, yeah, I want to hear your voice. Like,
yeah, right. Or even just like investing that time to meet up with that person. Obviously you want to make sure the person's like real, not a serial killer. I understand that. But once you establish like, okay, I know who this person is, I know he or she is okay, I think you should invest to meet up with these people, because texting somebody is one thing, but meeting up with them is another thing. I could be the coolest guy texting, and then when we're together, be the weirdest dude on the planet, or the opposite. It's a different language. We understand text differently. Sarcasm in text, it's a non-existent.
Well, and that'll actually lead me to my next point too, of like the tension I think that social media and dating apps have caused. Now, don't get me wrong. I think social media and dating apps, I think that's like the way of the world nowadays. I think it's an extra way of meeting people. There's definitely benefits to it. But I think people become so hooked on the digital and like what I'm seeing on the Bumble, it looks good on there, it looks good on paper, but when I meet them, it's like totally opposite.
Right.
People can say whatever the hell they want on their dating profile. They can make themselves look like Jeff Bezos.
Right.
And you can say anything if you're a smooth talker, but then, you meet these people in real life and you're like, you're a piece of shit. You are, you're not like the person I thought you were. And, you say all this like on your, I'll give you an example. I like, years ago went on a date with this girl who on her profile like looked great. Oh, I'm a sweetheart. I'm very outgoing. I like to have a good time, blah blah blah. Like, sweet. You look pretty good. I pick her up. It's like, "Oh, so how was your day?" Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Or okay, so like tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? Like anything?
Yeah, right.
What do you do with your hair in the morning? Like what's your favorite book to read? Effing something. Like
Right.
can we like have a date where we get to know each other? And I think again goes back to like the social media, the texting, and I think it's a distraction sometimes to what's good. So I think that's where again another strain of social media on relationship and dating.
Yeah, no, I like that point that you made. That gets me real fired up. I like it. It drives me nuts when somebody is all about social media. Look how cool I am. This picture, I'm the coolest. They build themselves up, and then you meet them, and they're a wet blanket. Like, I don't know what that is, but it pisses me off because it's like, no, you were always a wet blanket, but you use social media to deceive everybody. And guess what? Like, people that can't have a conversation or talk about themselves, nobody has to be outgoing. But when you gotta pull teeth to get like an answer, or people that say like, well, what do you want to know? Like, you ask me the questions. I don't know. Do other people ever reciprocate asking questions about you? It's very rare that like I've experienced it. It's always like, well, what do you want to know about me? Well, what do you want to know about me? Ask the question back.
Yeah, like can we pretend that we're human beings at least for a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, can you tell me, hey, Zach, you're the most boring person. I hate this date. Hey, at least you told me something.
Right.
At least I'm leveling with you there at that point.
Absolutely.
It's like, yeah, so I definitely think that so many people are so hooked on social media and getting likes that they will completely disconnect with you. Like, so I think that's definitely how I think social media is impacting relationships.
Yeah.
There's a good and bad thing of everything.
Yeah. No, I agree. Here's what's going to be weird though. In the future, when we get older and we're, in our wheelchairs or whatever, are we just, I guess we're going to have to go the route of all like digital. I don't think we're going to have conversations when we're in our retirement homes.
No.
Maybe we'll just be in pods and have virtual reality goggles on. But it's just going to be weird when you're around all these people who have no personalities and they live their entire lives on social media. Like, what is that going to look like with all these old people who live that way? A bunch of wet blankets running around. Or wheeling around.
I like that wet blanket. I've never heard that, honestly.
Really?
What is that?
It's just like the worst. It's like such an inconvenient feeling. Imagine you're like laying in your bed. You're a little bit cold and you want something to warm you up. Somebody gives you a wet blanket. It's like super inconvenient. It's not the worst thing in the world, but nobody wants a wet blanket.
No, they want the real thing that's going to make them, feel better.
Right, a dry or warm blanket.
And that's where deepening personal relationships, which leads me to my next segment, the value of it is just so priceless. We're in a world of superficial intelligence and artificial intelligence and social media. I think it's had an impact on our personal connections with people.
Yeah.
I think having that connection with somebody, that deep well-being, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's so complicated topic of how social media has made it less personal.
Yeah.
The value of personal connections is so huge. I want to get to know people. As humans, we're wired. We want to have that social and human interaction, and I think that could be dying nowadays.
No, I agree with you, and I know what you're saying. For me, I guess an example is I really enjoyed college, and I guess you don't realize what you have until it's gone. But yes, college is a lot of fun. The atmosphere, school is very difficult. You're trying to get a job. But I think one of the biggest benefits was having that human connection of being part of college, meeting people, talking to them, and seeing them on a regular basis. It just made things a lot easier, a lot more personable. It was easier to talk to people, it was easier to get to know people. But as an adult, it just seems very difficult. You eat, sleep, work, you try to fit in to meet people. People are constantly being shuffled around. So it's really hard to make those personable relationships with people as an adult.
Oh, there's one thing I'm definitely noticing is like, you know,
we keep saying,
cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut that part out
Edit that.
of you saying,
Yeah.
But one thing that kind of leads that to the next point is the authenticity. That's at the cornerstone, and I think the authenticity is not there as you get older. I think it's hard to be authentic when people are so used to social media of having all these filters.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to the college aspect of being around all these people, there was energy, there was like companionship. You could actually see people for who they were. If you're at a party, if you're at an event, you keep seeing these same people. You're like, oh, that person's a lot of fun. Like, I always enjoy having them around. I like talking to them. But as an adult or social media, it's a grind to actually get to know what is this person like in this scenario, that scenario. And in a way, it kind of cuts down the like passion or that human element of getting excited to see somebody, because it just feels like a job. It feels business. Okay, you're a social media person, or this is the facts about you. I don't care. Like, who are you as a person? How are you in different elements of your life, rather than my name is Jared. I am 27 years old. I like fishing. I like kayaking. I play rugby. Nobody cares,
So robotic, yeah. I mean, just mentioned it. You can put filters on anybody in social media, right? But I want to know who you are as a person, like you just said. I want to know who I'm going on a date with. I want to know you. I want to get to know you, not what you put on social media. Because like I said, every filter, somebody can have a good filter. Somebody can put anything they want on. Hell, you can go on Chat GPT these days. Be like, write me a kick-ass dating profile. Bloop.
Yeah.
There it is. Right? But I think that's the digital has made people a little bit too comfortable. Like I said, I'm not trying to bash digital technology because, like I said, that's my whole life. But I think there's just a dark side to it too, where people abuse. So
yeah, I think we have to understand the conveniences of the digital age. It's definitely convenient, more efficient. We're getting a lot more things done. Living in this world, at least in the U.S., it's a lot easier. We're not breaking our backs anymore. Sure, we're in front of a screen, but it also siphons away that human element, with just talking with people, seeing each other, that personable thing. And it's going to be strange, man. A lot of people can't talk to each other anymore, and we're, very awkward.
The face-to-face communication has definitely gone down. I mean, that's why it's, I think, so important to bring that back, right? Have the emphasis on it. It's like, don't get rid of your dating profile completely. I think that's a great way with Bumble and Tinder and all these dating apps to meet people, but I would say just filter out the ones and see who you want to meet with face to face.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that I think has gone down due to the digital world, is the face to face.
Yeah. You know what we should do? We should I'm going off topic, but we should try to do, or somebody, maybe not us, but have not like speed dating, because that just sucks, of like 5 seconds with people, but an event once a week where all single people go. You meet each other, you have a couple drinks, you do advertisements to pay for the event, but more personable events, instead of Bumble, Tinder, this, that, just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be real. Meeting in person just like helps establish that relationship, like that that communication. It's a good way too to maybe say, because let's be real, not everybody you meet is supposed to be the one you marry or it works out with, but let's just give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
Like let's meet up and like let me see if you're worth it.
Yeah. See if we're compatible. Yeah, it might end in a friendship. It might end in talking and then breaking up. Might end in getting married. You don't know until you're around these people more than just like one date. You could go on 3 or 4 dates with somebody and not know shit about them. What, an hour, 2 hours with somebody, 8 hours in a month? You still don't know shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's a big thing too, is not getting hooked on someone so quickly. Mm-hmm. I think I'm kind of going off topic too, but I think that can, well, no, maybe not. I mean, again, I think people can get hooked on somebody based off solely what they post on social media. Like, this person looks like God, so
yeah,
I'm gonna, they're good on paper, so I'm gonna marry them.
Yeah, absolutely. If Kim Kardashian DM'd me, I'd be like, "Oh wow, like she's so beautiful."
I don't know. Kim K, man, she's a little cuckoo.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The Kardashians, man, look how they've like destroyed like Lamar Odom, Kanye West. I mean, Kanye's off his rockers now, talking about, he loves Nazis.
Yeah, that was an interesting take. I think he was trying to be like, I love everybody, but it came off really bad.
Well, I'm not a marketing genius or anything like that, but couldn't he have just said like a shirt like love everybody? I think that would have gotten the message across.
That would have made more sense.
I love Nazis. Yeah. I don't know, buddy. That's
it's bold. Get some people going.
Oh my Lord. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish there.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot of respect for him, but yeah, no, that's
we went real off topic.
No, but we really didn't though, because it's like, social media definitely makes people look better than they actually are. Even the Kardashians, I mean.
Oh yeah.
They're loaded with wealth, and they look good on paper, but you never know what goes on behind closed doors.
You think Kim Kardashian has a special toilet seat for her butt?
Maybe. I don't know. We might need to cut that part out though. Yeah, but yeah, it's a complex issue we're facing with a lot of conflicts because of social media. I think it's disconnected a lot of people from having a conversation with somebody and going out on a date.
Yeah, it's quite a struggle to get somebody out on a date. I mean, there's such a process now. Say the modern scene is dating app. Let's just say Tinder. All right, you meet a girl on Tinder. You talk to them for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Hopefully, neither of you ghost each other, because that's a possibility, or somebody gets distracted for a day, the other person gets butthurt, something. So it's consistent 2 weeks. Hey, let's finally meet up. So you have to go through an app. You have to make sure you don't get ghosted. Then you got to find a date. Then you got to go to that date and make sure the person's not crazy or there's compatible features within each other. And then you got to do that 3 or 4 times. And through that process, you have to hope that you don't get ghosted again, which is possible, or that person finds somebody else or gets distracted or says, hey, I see you as more of a friend. I mean, it's a lot of hoops rather than just meeting somebody, being like, we're compatible person to person. Like, hey, we may meet at a bar or event. We're compatible. Let's see where this goes.
Right. And it's definitely changing the way of the world nowadays. We've there's so many options out there because of social media and because of dating apps.
Agreed. We're like just rabid dogs. I think I used that analogy the last show. We're just dogs running after cars, sitting there running after the next, trying to bite a bumper. Another car's going, just running after that. And it's like we have to try to do better. It's pretty impossible, but we have to just concentrate and say, hey, look, I'm talking to this person. let's see where it goes. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to jump to the next person, as opposed to, everybody has a side chick or a side guy or this or that. And it's like, okay, you do you, but you're never going to find somebody in a meaningful relationship if you have 8 side people. It's you're never going to invest fully in one person.
Right, and if you want to just have fun, just say you want to have fun. Put that on your profile on Tinder and Bumble. Right?
Yeah. No.
I just want to be a clown, down the clown, instead of being a clown and ruining someone's life.
Right.
That way you're at least honest with them.
Yeah.
So that's where social media can definitely be an advantage if you're a single person and you want to just have your options open, as you should. I think being single in your 20s is a very important lesson. I've learned that. I think it's a way for you to discover yourself and have a little fun.
Yeah.
Before you get serious in your older age. If you want to get tied down in 30s, if you don't, that's good too. If you don't, keep it up. Keep keep the horse in the starting gate. Keep chugging along. Keep putting yourself out there on the dating apps and saying, you want to have fun.
Right.
But understand that there's consequences for that too. People won't take you serious, like you just said.
Yeah. No, I think in your early 20s it makes sense to be free, and you're trying to find your career, trying to find your place. You have to do what you have to do to settle in, and most people go to college. Most people are trying to find a job. There's a lot going on there. But I think there should be, like you said, I think we have to be more respectful to people, try to communicate, and we also have to understand we all can't be butthurt if somebody rejects us as well. Because I'm sure with girls, part of the fear is like, oh, if I reject this guy, he's going to be a psychopath, which I get, because there are a lot of crazy people out there.
I've seen it. I've definitely seen people that can't take rejection well, and I gotta admit it hurts, but in a way it's a good thing, because I'd rather you be upfront with me and tell me, hey, I want to look at other people on social media and be a rabid dog rather than tie myself down to you.
Right.
It's better than telling somebody you like them and you're really all about them, and then you just completely blindside hit them the one day.
Right.
No blindside hits. That's a personal foul. You get ejected for that shit.
How about that story? You hear about that blindside story?
Oh my God, yeah.
Michael Oher.
Oh my God, our favorite childhood movie. I loved The Blind Side. Now it's like, I hate you, Michael Oher. Well, I guess that's what happens when you get drafted by the Ravens.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
really anything good that comes
No.
from that.
Yeah, your life just goes downhill after that.
Karma. What a weird team. What a weird team name. The Ravens, the Ratbirds. You literally got it from Edgar Allan Poe, a poet who was hooked on like morphine or heroin, wasn't it?
Something like that. But yeah, he had that, it was a poem?
The Raven. Yeah. Quotes the Raven, nevermore.
Nevermore, right. Yeah, he had a lot of good. Well, I don't know. He's kind of a creep.
He was.
Allan Poe.
That's social media too. A lot of creeps on social media. A lot of
Yeah. Edgar Allan Poe.
A lot of weirdos hooked on morphine writing poems about an ugly ass bird. At that point, hell, even honestly, Edgar Allan Poe, he's a very established poet. He was on drugs and wrote these poems. It kind of makes more sense than digital dating nowadays.
Yeah. Does that give him an advantage that he was doing drugs back then and being a poet?
I don't know about
bullshit.
I don't know about that, but I definitely think an advantage was he didn't have social media, so.
That's true. I guess when you're in a castle or some old rickety shithole of a house and you just sit in there all day and you see a raven like flying by, you're like, oh, maybe I should write a poem about this. I got nothing better to do.
Right. He had no distractions back then.
Yeah.
Like, look, I just got a notification, so-and-so just signed up for Snapchat. Like, first off, who the hell are you? Second, like, why do I care? Like, yeah, let me stop what I'm doing. Let's stop the whole podcast so I can congratulate somebody on signing up for Snapchat.
Right.
Or someone just made a post on Facebook. That's, my next point kind of is there's so many distractions of, trying to distract you from your everyday life to try to say like, oh, hey, so-and-so posted this, so-and-so posted that.
Mm-hmm.
I think automatically we see that and like, oh, let's see what he posted.
Yeah.
I think that's just a big problem, not just for everybody.
It gets
Nothing
you that
personal.
little dopamine hit, all those like noises and the colors. I mean, the phones and screens, they're purposely designed to grab your attention. That noise, ding, dong, ding, notification, this, that, it constantly is pulling you in. It wants you on the phone all day long.
Yeah. It's a distraction for sure, and it's irrelevant to me at least. It's more relevant to some other people, obviously, because we seem to be in a world where we constantly compare social media and want to see others' lives instead of focusing on our own.
Mm.
I think that's also led to people becoming ignorant too, dude, and making themselves involved in other people's business. Like, hey, did you hear about what so and so posted on social media? Right. They're this, they're that. It's like, don't you have a life of your own, man?
Yeah, people that are more involved in other people's drama, you probably don't have too much going on. And there's a lot of those people.
Oh my God, the Facebook trolls. Oh my. Some boomers. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. You're guilty of this too. There's a guy I know. Every Facebook post or sports update I post, it's like he's there. Yeah. Or like something like he's there. It's like, dude, do you have anything better to do than just be on Facebook waiting for somebody to... I think it was a sports post. I said something like Trevor Lawrence is going to have a better year than Kenny Pickett, for example, which, let's be real, I know, don't crucify me, Pittsburgh, but that's still a poll I'm having. We'll get into that in our sports update soon, but just throwing that out there. I mean, the guy has proved himself. The guy won a playoff game, was down 27-0. I know he's in a crap division, but the fact of the matter is he won his division and he won a playoff game when it mattered.
Yeah.
Down 27-0. That's some elite baller stats right there. I think Kenny, hopefully he can break out. I keep hearing this, but anyway, I posted a thing where I think he was going to be better, and this boomer tried to tell me some stuff of like, oh, we got Naj, we got, an offensive like Kenny, we're stacked, we have elite receivers. First of all, Deontay Johnson made $9 million last year, did not have a single touchdown. Put me out there, I'll go suck and not have a single touchdown.
Yeah.
Secondly, our offensive line definitely got better, but again, this is only preseason we're in. Kenny has got to prove himself like every other quarterback in the league. Ben had to prove himself. Yeah. Hell, Brady had to prove himself.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of good quarterbacks in our division and our conference. I mean, the AFC is stacked. Mahomes.
And I got crucified for it because it was like, oh, GTFOH. It's like, wow, boomer, you know how to use slang. Congrats.
Right.
Another, troll on Facebook that just has nothing better to do than... Oh, and this town is too biased with it, too. There's a lot of biased opinions instead of actual facts. I backed it up with facts. Yeah. He has Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones.
Yeah, right. A lot of offensive power.
Christian Kirk, it's,
Yeah, that's the thing. Pittsburgh is a city, but it's a very small city compared to, like, anywhere else. Detroit and Philly, we're very tiny compared to those cities, and people just are obsessed with being homers, good or bad. Remember when everybody was like, it's the Pirates year this year, this is our year, this is our team. I was like, give it time. We always stink, we're gonna blow out, and like they're gonna collect the money. Relax.
Right. That's another thing of the digital world, of just having biased instead of facts. Make sure you back your arguments up with facts instead of just, oh, well, it says it on the internet, social media, or this and that. Got to back it up with facts.
Agreed.
So, all right, it's time for our sports segment update. On to that note, the Steelers, man, I want them to be great. I want Kenny to be great. but it is only preseason, and I want to see more from him. He's had a great preseason. He's scored on all of his drives. I'll give him credit. He's definitely looking the part. He's looking more of a leader. I expect him to improve. Getting to the show, though, I don't know about that. I would like to see a playoff win. My prediction for the Steelers, I'm going to go 9-8.
Seems pretty good. I actually agree with you, 9-8. They're not going to let Tomlin have a losing season. I think we'll be very competitive. I think we'll see a lot of things that we like in its progression. And this year, we'll say we're headed in the right direction. We got another year, maybe next year, and we'll really cook things. But some people are like, a Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl team. Our defense, it's so elite. And Kenny Pickett, he's the man. And we have a lot of upside. But our division is stacked. The Ravens are always good. You think Deshaun Watson's going to be as bad as he was last year now that he had a whole offseason and a full year with the Browns? They paid him a shitload of money to be good. He's going to be, maybe not Houston Deshaun, but we have Lamar Jackson, Deshaun, and Burrow all in our division.
Yeah, and not to mention just our division, but the AFC is so stacked at quarterbacks. You got Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert,
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, T-Law, my man. How could I forget him?
No, you're good.
Trevor Lawrence is good. I mean, now that Rodgers is in the AFC with the Jets.
He's in the AFC. I don't think Tua, they give him a lot of shit, but I don't think he's as bad as everybody says.
No, I mean, they're definitely going to be a competitor, the Dolphins. I mean, hell, they were in the playoffs last year, so.
Mm-hmm.
This leads me to my next point, too. I heard something interesting on the radio. So within our division, right, you got to start one with all the quarterbacks, right? All the 4 quarterbacks we have. So between Kenny Pickett, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson, you got to start one, trade one, cut one, and retire one. Obviously, I'm starting Joe Burrow because he's the best one in the division.
Yeah.
Trade one, probably go Kenny Pickett. He's starting to come in his own, I think. Probably get value for him. I'm cutting Lamar Jackson because he's so damn injury prone.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a quarterback. I think he's a runner. So those are my. What about you?
Surprisingly, I'd like to play devil's advocate, but I actually agree with your assessment. I mean, you'd be crazy to not start Joe Burrow and, yeah, trade him. Kenny Pickett, his contract is so nice compared to the other 3. I don't know what his contract is, but those other 3 guys make 45 million and up. So no, I agree. I think Deshaun Watson should retire, and he can get massages, in his retirement home.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I don't know. Deshaun's a creep for sure. But Pittsburgh, we got no room to talk. Ben Roethlisberger and his. I know he didn't.
Oh, hey.
I know. Oh, yeah, never convicted. But I mean, hey, let's be real. That kind of screwed his career up. He didn't take care of himself. And I'm not trying to bash our boys here. I love our boys. I want our team to win, but I'm just stating facts too. It's gonna be a hard battle.
I agree.
So
if people think we're Super Bowl bound in Pittsburgh, you guys are crazy. But make me eat my words.
Same here. I think we can have potential to win a playoff game. I'd be happy with that if we just
Sure.
get there and, win a damn game.
Right. But it's quite a gauntlet to go through the AFC that, I don't know, injuries, trades, things happen. It's not as easy as just putting a team together and saying, this team's the most talented in the world.
9-8, that's not a bad record. You could have a playoff push with that record.
Yeah,
it's not like that's a crap record. I'm not saying the Steelers are not the worst team in the league. Definitely not.
No.
There's definitely way worse. I mean, look at Atlanta. I mean, that was only their second or third string, but there's a lot worse.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the boys do.
I agree.
I'm rooting for them, though. I really am. Here we go.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Ooh. All right, and that leads us. Oh, speaking of an old Steeler legend, there's no doubt in the world that he was arguably the best Steelers wide receiver that we had.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, man, talk about a dive off the deep end.
Yeah.
My God. This guy, ever since he left the Steelers, frostbit his feet, traded by the Raiders, cut by the Patriots, stormed off the field half naked by on Tampa Bay's roster, pretty much exposed himself publicly, and completely exposed himself in a pool
Yeah.
to this poor girl. Let's be real, if you and I had done that, we would be detained.
Oh, definitely.
So this guy, I mean, people want to say CTE. I think he's just a big old prick. So Antonio Brown, as your former home, I should say, for Steeler Nation, I want to personally congratulate you because this week you are the sports jackass of the week.
You suck, you jackass.
That kind of leads us to the closing. So, yeah, look, with this whole digital media stuff, guys, I know it's a little tough in today's world. I would say if you're going to use the digital world, do it in a way that's respectful, honest, put positivity out there and brand yourself in a positive light. Don't be a psychopath and don't get distracted. Filters are not all what they seem on social media. That's kind of my closing 2 cents.
Yeah, and I'd just say let's all try to be a little bit nicer to each other, a little bit more understanding, personable. Let's try to get back to that human element.
We are humans at the end of the day, not computers.
That's true.
Take care, everybody.
Till the next time.